So in this video, we're going to talk about, well, how do we factor a trinomial when our first term is not 1? So last time, all of our trinomials, after we took out the greatest common factor, had just a 1x squared. And that was really nice because all we had to put for our first two terms was x and x. Well, what happens when that's not the case? And that happens a lot. So let's learn how to deal with that. So first of all, the first thing obviously we want to look for is the greatest common factor, and if we can get rid of that first term with the greatest common factor, it's great. So let's see, we have a 10x cubed, a 35x squared, and a negative 20x here. So let's look at our coefficients first. So 10, 35, and 20, the greatest common factor between those three numbers. Think about that. Well, yes, you should have thought 5. So we're going to take out 5 as my coefficient, and then they all have an x in it. So I'm going to also pull out an x, 5x. All right, so 10x cubed divided by 5x is 2x squared. And then 35x squared divided by 5x is going to be 7x. And negative 20x divided by 5x is going to be negative 4. Okay, so now we need to go ahead and factor that trinomial into two binomials and see what did I multiply there. Unfortunately, my first term is not just 1x squared, it's a 2x. Well, think about it. It's 2x. What's the only number that multiplies to be 2? Well, 1 and 2. So first I'm going to have a 1x and then a 2x for my first two terms. And then for 4, we have either 1 and 4, and we can have 2 and 2. So let's try 2 and 2 first. So my inner here would be 4x, and my outer would be 2x. If I add them, I get 6x. If I subtract them, I get 6x, and if I subtract them, I get 2x. So that's not going to work. Okay, so now, so 2 and 2 don't work, and if you change the order, that's not going to help. So now, 1 and 4. Now be careful now because you don't have an x and x here, so order does matter. So if 1 and 4 don't work, we're going to try 4 and 1. So let's see. 1 times 4 is 2x, and x times 4 is 4x. If I add them, I get 6x, and again, so it's really kind of like the same time if I subtract the same thing as the last time. So this didn't work, but don't say it's prime just yet, because again, order is going to matter because I don't have an x and an x. My inner and my outer are going to change depending on the order that I write it. So instead of writing a 1 and a 4, let's write a 4 and a 1. So if I do a 4 and a 1, I get an 8x and a 1x. Well, here I can get a 7 if I subtract the positive 7, right? So if this is positive and this is negative, when I put them together, I get a positive 7x. So that would mean this would need to be plus if I follow the smiley face, and this would be negative. So 4 times negative 1 does give me negative 4, so it does work out pretty well. And that's it. I factor this. So it has 3 factors, and these are the factors that I have. 5x, x plus 4, and 2x minus 1. All right, so now this next one, same idea. We're going to try to see, does it have a greatest common factor? Well, 6, 25, and 4, nope. So let's go ahead and try to factor it into two binomials. Now, for 6, you want to be careful, right? So 6 has, you either have 1 and 6 or 2 and 3. So let's try 2 and 3 first. So 2x and 3x. And then for 4, we either have 1 and 4 or 2 and 2. So our inner, if it's 2 and 2, would be 6x. Our outer would be 4x. There's absolutely no way to get 25x. So we are going to not do 2 and 2. And obviously the order, if you change the order, it's the same two numbers, so it doesn't work. So let's try 1 and 4. Okay, so this would be 3x, and this would be 6x. Again, no way to get 25. So let's try 4 and 1. And so in this case, I have 12x, and then I have 2x. Again, still no way to get 25. So, okay. Before we say that it's prime, notice that we used 2 and 3 for 6. So basically, that was the issue. Okay, so 1 and 4 may still be okay, and 2 and 2 may still be okay, but the problem here was what we used for 6x. It didn't work. Okay, so in this case, we're going to have to use 1 and 6. So if we use x and 6x, that's probably going to work. So if we do 2 and 2, our inner is 12x, our outer is 2x. Again, no 25x, so that didn't work. Okay, so we know it's not 2 and 2. It's probably going to be 1 and 4 or 4 and 1. So if we put a 1 and a 4, I'm going to go with 4 and 1 because if you do 4 and 1, 4 times 6 is 24x, which is looking good. And x times 1 is 1x. If you add them both, you get 25, so my signs are plus and plus. Perfect. So yes, this is the most complicated that it can get when our first term is not prime and has multiple options. I hope that you found this video helpful and that you